Can Impulse heal enemies? That's what I'll be showing you in this video, as well as a bunch of other things like, does the speed boost from MIKS stack? Can Bassquake stop you defusing the spike? And even if ISO keeps the speed boost from Harmonize in his ultimate. I can guarantee you'll learn something new about MIKS just by watching this video, so make sure you stick around until the end because you don't want to miss anything. Okay, so first things first, can the Impulse heal enemies? This was speculated about, leaked, things like that, but now we actually have the agent here in game. Can this healing ability heal your enemies? So I'll get him to throw it on me right now. And yeah, you can see that in the bottom left, I am getting healed by this ability, even though this is from the other team. He just got me back almost to full health. So while we're on the topic, actually, I want to figure out exactly how much healing this gives you. So you can see I'm on 1 HP right now. And then if I throw this on the ground and I'm in it immediately, so I don't miss any of it, let's see how much health it gives me. So it does 3 total pulses and also some gradual healing in between. So it gave me 93 health in total. I think there were 3 pulses of 20. And then I guess that means there were 3 little bursts of 11 HP in between those pulses. And it seems to give you 93 HP in total. Does MIKS's Harmonize speed boost stack? So if I speed boost myself with Brimstone and then get the one from MIKS, am I faster than just a normal Brimstone? First of all, I'll put my own stim beacon down like so. Then get the Harmonize. So I should have 2 combat stims in theory, but I don't think they actually stack. You can see there in the bottom left at least, I only have 1 active. Again, I'll have a side by side of those 2 on screen, just Brimstim versus the 2 effects at once. If the right one arrives there faster, then they do stack. And if they get there at the same time, then they don't stack. Now you probably wouldn't want to have both a Brimstone and a MIKS on your team, but in theory you can make Neon go super speed. I tested this with the help of Ditterscool because I needed 3 people here, so massive thanks to him for taking some time and helping me out here. Yeah, this Neon was going crazy fast, and that footage on the left is just Neon sprinting normally, and in comparison, it looks like she's going at a snail's pace. Next, for MIKS's smoke waveform, there aren't really any myths to bust per se, but I wanted to point out the duration of his smokes and compare it to some of the other controllers. All of the final values you can see for every other agent are correct and straight from the game files, whereas MIKS's I did by eye, so I think it's 16.5 seconds, although that might be a little bit off. What we can tell for sure though is that it's longer than Clove, Astra and Omen, but shorter than Harbor and Brimstone. Also yesterday, I said that MIKS's smoke had a longer range than both Clove and Brimstone because that's what one of the devs said on stream. But in game you can see that if anything, MIKS's range is actually slightly shorter than both of those 2 agents. So I guess now I'm busting a myth that I spread myself, but you can see there, MIKS's smoke range is a tiny bit shorter than Clove and Brimstone. Can Bassquake hit your allies? We've got another pretty simple one here. What happens if you ultimate your teammates? Do you have to worry about hitting them? Let's see right here. And yes, your teammates will get affected by Bassquake, so you have to be careful where you aim it. Although that is one of the good things about it being cone shaped. That way, if your teammate is standing right next to you, they're a little bit less likely to get hit. And instead you can focus on the areas that, you know, are a bit further back in the ultimate. Can you move while casting Bassquake? This will be a quick one, but just to let you guys know, when you use this ability, it's going to feel pretty similar to Breach or Waylay. You can see right here, as soon as I go to click it, you become very slowed down. In fact, you almost entirely stop on the spot. And the same thing is going to go with your mouse movement as well. So you can aim it wherever, but as soon as you click it, I'm swinging my mouse just as much, and it almost completely locks you in place when you go to use that ultimate. The next question that I saw a lot of people asking is, can the Impulse be destroyed, as well as how much health does it actually have? So we'll get him to throw one here right now. You can see 2 bullets it takes to break with the Vandal at least, so probably around 50 HP. I throw another one down here with the Classic. Okay, I've been stunned. 2 bullets with the Classic as well, so probably no more than 50 HP on the Impulse. And I believe you can break it as soon as the ability lands. I'll try and see here, gets thrown down. So yeah, you can break it even before the first pulse actually goes off. Next, I wanted to figure out, does the stun effect in Impulse linger like the heal effect does? Like we went over before, when you throw it down, it does pulses of healing as well as a little bit of gradual healing in between. So I want to see what happens if you run through this ability, the stun, and if there's any downside in between the actual pulses. So we'll throw it down like here. That's the actual pulse, that'll obviously stun you. But if I run in between, doesn't look like there's any sort of slow or actual stun effect. In fact, let's see here. If I throw it down and wait out the stun, it looks like you can actually run through the entire duration of the ability, the entire range of the ability. Sorry. If you wait out the stun with your knife out, even going across the widest possible point. Okay, that time I did it a little bit late, but you can see that if you have your knife out, you can literally just run through the entire ability. In case you're curious, no, it doesn't make a difference whether it's an ally or an enemy. I mean, I got hit by the stun there the first time, but you know, you can always run through and it doesn't affect you apart from those 3 individual pulses. So you're just gonna have to learn and get familiar with your sound cues and the timings of when this ability is actually going to stun you. Are your footsteps going to be louder with Harmonize? Now this might sound silly at first, but one thing you probably don't know about this ability is that when you activate it, it will actually play a sound cue. So if I get this mix right here to use the Harmonize on himself, you can hear that sound, and then when he moves around, you can actually hear that his footsteps are going to sound pretty different as well. So I think the maximum audio range on this ability is going to be 30 meters, similar to the footstep circle and how far away people can normally hear your footsteps from. So even at 30 meters, if it uses it here, you can still barely hear it. The footsteps range is going to be the exact same, as in like the same as the normal audio circle for normal footsteps. But I do think the footsteps are slightly more noticeable when you have this ability active. Let me know what you think. Does Bassquake push you off the spike? Now, obviously it pushes you back. We saw that just before, but I do want to see if it's enough force to actually push you off the spike. And then also what happens if you're in a corner and you don't have enough room to move backwards? Is it actually going to interrupt you defusing then as well? Now we'll get him to start defusing and I'm going to ult him and see. Yeah, that's definitely going to get him off the bomb. Now let's see if it's planted in the corner and he starts defusing. I'll try to push him off and no, it's hard to tell, but he is still sticking it. Doesn't get off. So you will have to be really careful of where you plant the bomb if you're planning on ulting them off. With the Bassquake, as you saw the first time, if there is space behind them, they can get pushed back and that'll work. But if it's planted in a corner and you're just going to be pushing them straight back into a wall, it might not actually get them off. Now I want to try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First of all, can mollies break the impulse? And then on top of that, does the impulse heal you through mollies? So get Brim to launch a molly down here like so. Put the impulse down. And then no, I'm receiving no healing from that, although it does actually look like the impulse will survive over the top of the molly. Again, we'll put the molly down first, put the impulse directly in the center. And we saw earlier it had 50 health, but right now it seems to be chilling and just flying above, not taking any damage from that molly. But then yeah, as far as the healing through damage goes, it's going to be the same as something like a sage heal, where taking any sort of damage is going to interrupt the healing you get, I believe. So I'll just show that one more time. If I'm getting healed but then take damage from something, you can see I stop getting healed for a little bit and then the healing will eventually return, but you are going to miss out if you're taking damage while standing in the impulse. Here's another fast one that Ditto's helped me with, and the answer actually surprised me. Does ISO keep Harmonize in his ultimate? And you'll see there when I use kill contract, I actually keep the combat stim in the bottom left, and I'm definitely moving faster around the ultimate. Ditto's was even saying the same thing goes if you are mixed and you're about to get ISO ulted. If you apply the stim to yourself, you will keep that speed boost going into ISO's ultimate. I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, but this is how the interaction currently works. Can Jet updraft out of Bassquake? So I'll get Jet a little bit in front of me here to updraft as this ultimate comes in and see whether or not she dodges it. And see, ultimate's going in like so. Jet updrafts, still looks like she gets hit by it. I timed that a little bit wrong, but I've also got Heaven up here to test with as well. Let's see here, even if I'm aiming all the way down on the ground, if I'm aiming at Hell, will it still hit Jet all the way up in Heaven? And it will. So verticality is almost a non-factor in this ultimate by the look of it. Just anything in this range is going to get hit. Look, even if I'm all the way back here, very, very low compared to very, very high. Aim it there, and yeah, Jet is still going to get hit by the Bassquake. Then the last thing I tested was, does Harmonize refresh if MIKS dies? And it actually turns out there's a pretty particular mechanic with Harmonize. And you'll see that as I'm testing, if MIKS dies and his ally gets a kill with the stim, it will not refresh. If you're MIKS and you use your stim, then your ally dies and you get a kill, it still actually won't refresh. And so it turns out both of you need to be alive for a kill to refresh the duration of Harmonize. I was under the impression initially that the duration only wouldn't extend if you used Harmonize on yourself, but it actually turns out that if either of you dies at any point, that will stop the duration from refreshing for the remainder of the ability. So those were some interactions and other interesting things I tested with MIKS and his new abilities in Valorant. I did have a few left over, as well as some things that I haven't tested just yet, so I might end up doing a part 2 tomorrow. If there's anything that you wanted to see me test but I didn't test it in this one, comment that down below and hopefully I can figure out how it works for you.